Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome back. Welcome to. Appreciate the support either way, cuzzies. My name is Joe Josh. I go by iChart Daily. Today is, I don't even know, August 21st, 2025. The year is just flying by, right? So, in today's video, I'm going to be going over Bitcoin. The main topic will be where I think Bitcoin can stop short term, and then where I think it could potentially go thereafter. So this is not financial advice. This is a window to my thought process, a process that I've been fine-tuning for literally 18 years now. Originally, I was taught this process by my father, who was an options trader for Stratton Oakmont. And I've been invested trading and charting crypto for almost 11, 12 years now, and I have experienced and seen and charted multiple happenings, and I have formed rules and thick skin to the news and people's opinions that mean absolutely nothing to me. And I'm trying to regurgitate all this information and put it in a quick 10-minute video on YouTube, but continuously repeat the same things over and over and over, and continuously put reps in, and some of you will want to learn. Speaking of that, if you are looking to purchase the moving average, the divergence, the section A, section B, and the buy sell, which I don't turn on because I don't need them, that link is in the description. If you're looking to request a video and you don't care about learning anything that I say, you just care about if I say if it goes up or down, you could now request a video. Give me about a day to do it. I will do a long-term, mid-term, and short-term video, technical analysis in the video. So back to Bitcoin, couple key things. The first thing I look for is long-term trends predict short-term outcomes. I am curious to see if the first mover, which is the RSI, is now pointing back down again, and if there's anything that could show me that there's confirmation to the downside. The first thing that comes into my mind is now that the RSI is approaching the 70 line, or is actually a little bit below it at 69.90, and the moving average is at 68.04, I'm going to set an alert a little bit lower at the 69.46, just to let me know that poo-poo's hitting the fan. So you could clearly see, once again, resistance, we could see support, we could see a symmetrical triangle, this pattern here. Symmetrical triangles could break to the upside, they could break to the downside. We need to see what happens here. What I mean by happens here is the move that is happening right now. I'm curious to see if we fall back into section A, which is 70-250, still bullish, still could be a continuation, but you have to understand what that means. So the last low is 75,000. So we could come all the way back down to 90 or 80,000 and still be considered a higher low. What is a higher low? Well, that everything happens in waves. We just want to see if the next low that is printed is higher than the next. If it is higher than the next, then the next high that is printed somewhere over here has a higher probability of being a higher high to the ones that were printed previously, right? These were the highs. As if right now we're printing a little bit of a higher high, but I think this could be a bear trap that is playing out. I'll get into that. So as of right now, I do think there is blood on the horizon. I do think there's blood on the horizon at least for the next month or so, because this is a monthly chart and this takes at least a month to print the next candle. 10 days, 7 hours for the next candle to print, left in August. Then we do think September will be bloody, and then October could be better. We need to see what the Feds line up with interest rates and stuff like that. But back to the RSI, I want this to be quick. Each high has been lower, each low has been higher. The move that I am looking for is officially a break of the 69.68, a break of the moving average, which is right now at 68.04, and then major blood back down to this level here of, let's just say, 62 to 63 on the monthly RSI. So with that being said, and I think that there's blood on the horizon, as you could see, the head and shoulders pattern that I said was playing out did play out. You could see here resistance once again, right? We buy at support so that we could take profit at resistance. I know that sounds silly, but if you don't do it, then what are we doing here, right? So once again, resistance, 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 support, support, support. We broke the moving average. We formed a high, a higher high, a lower high. We broke that resistance that I told you, the 62.52. The alert went off, and Bitcoin is now down from the top of 124,000 down to 112, down another $2,000 today. This is the beauty of technical analysis, cuzzies. So now let's draw some trend lines. Now I want to teach you something. Most people will be like, oh, well, this is the trend line like right here, which is correct partially. Because trend lines go with trend indicators. So if the trend indicator, which is the MACD golden crossed here back in May, then technically you can't just void out these two lows. So keep these lows here, right? This red line, but also understand that this is also a line as well. Sometimes you do get spider lines. Spider lines is when one line crosses the other, and it shows you like a trend change. And then what usually happens is, you could zoom into the 2-week. What could happen is we go from one and then we go to the next one. So sometimes it's good to leave them. If there's too many and it's confusing you, don't leave them. But if it line, I'll get into it, right? Because there's also the 11 and 21 day moving average, which is also a major support on the weekly and longer time frames for Bitcoin during bull and bear markets, right? So what I do is, once again, this is why I made that video the other day, all I'm looking to do is create visuals for my brain to understand where the price action could go. So once again, right now the 11-day moving average is at 107, the 21's at 99. Checkbox in my head. Most recent support resistance. Well, you're looking at resistance of 104, support of 100. Checkbox. Trend line number 1, which was the most recent 1, 2, 3. We'll change the color. That is the orange one. Yellow. Sorry. Yeah, keep it. So the red one is one short-term support level that we could go to, lining up with, once again, the 98,000 to the 100,000 here. The yellow line is the trend line that lines up with the monthly, and that one lines up with, let's just say here, of 104,000. So we have the spider trend lines, we have the moving averages, and we have the major support resistance lining up with about 105 to about 100,000, 98,000, give or take. So once again, now what we need to understand is, how do we understand if that is the bottom? Rule number 1, nothing bullish comes from a death cross, nothing bearish comes from a golden cross. So we have officially death cross. We have officially printed the first red candle on the weekly MACD, showing us that the trend is coming down, and we potentially could hit 100 to 97,000, which is the most recent lows. If the MACD breaks the zero line, right, or this low here of the 1100, then we have a high probability of coming back down to even lower prices. But as of right now, major support is lining up with about 100,000. That could be the video right there, but I'll go into it to explain even more. So once again, the monthly MACD is still pointing up. So you could see here, price still went up, right? We're not going sideways, we're still going up. When do we come down to the most recent low of 76,495? When we break this market structure right here. If we break this market structure right here, and we do this, and then we do this, we are officially in a bear market, and we are hitting lows way lower than that, of 75,000 all the way down to, I'd say, these 50 to 57,000. As of right now, it's just a healthy consolidation on the table. A couple speculations that I'd like to say. We need to see what happens thereafter. So this did this, did this. This did this, did this. If we do this and come back down to 100,000, there's a probability that we could come back up and only go here. So we do this to this, but then we do this to this. If this plays out, then this pattern is a head and shoulders. That pattern playing out on a weekly time frame is nothing to play with. We could see something like this again. If something like that again happens, and we do break this over here, that brings us back to about the 80 to 75,000. Then we need to see what's happening with Bitcoin. Because is it going to make a higher low to the 74,113? And at that point, is Bitcoin's dominance, I keep saying it, but is Bitcoin's dominance going to fall? Right, not right now. This pump. I'm already preparing for like the end. I'm already putting cash in reserves to collect interest for 2027, 2028. So it's like, does this crash? We have a dead cat bounce. We go down, and then we go from the 80, 75,000 all the way back up to 720. You're almost getting like a 2x out of your Bitcoin. But if Bitcoin's dominance is coming down while this pump happens, then your altcoins will pump, but not before major blood happens. So what do? We set alerts. It's just that simple. Let's get into it. So, weekly stochastic RSI is in section B. Your MACD has death cross. Your RSI is still in section A as well as the MACD. What am I looking for? I'm setting an alert to see if the RSI breaks the 5413, which was previous like resistance support levels here of like 52 to 53. So I'm curious to see if we have a dead cat bounce, right? Now that the trend looks like poop, I'm looking for dead cat bounces, like something like this to play out, right? Like something like this to play out, like something like this to play out, like something like this to play out. What it looks like is lower highs and lower lows until you find that bottom. As of right now, we officially have turned bearish. So any type of green candles right now are going against the grain, and anything that does not break the 117 to the 118 is just another lower high. It's just that simple. With the risk of the most recent low that is formed, hasn't formed yet, but what I'm looking for is divergences on at least the daily, right? I'm looking for at least the daily. This is the live divergence indicator. It checks all of these, the money flow, high money flow, all of those. I'm not going to name them all. And I turned off the labels, so it just shows the number. So you can see there's already 3 divergences showing there. What you're looking for is a double bottom, a higher low on the stochastic and the RSI. Your MACD just entered section B, showing you that the next couple candles continue making lower lows. Your most recent support is this 111.814. We need to see if we form a bottom there. So once again, right, higher low, higher low. The long would have been from 114 till right here. Let's just say the 119 to 123 when the stochastic crossed over. So once again, I am putting an alert on the daily 20 line on the stochastic. And then you need to watch the RSI to see if the waves that are forming on the daily and probably the 12-hour form its first higher low and break the moving average. I'd like to see it break the moving average. That's step 1 for a bottom being formed. And then you want to see it break the 50. So once again, you can see it breaking the moving average, using it as support here. We went from 112 to 115, but you can't FOMO in. You gotta wait for confirmation. Confirmation is coming down, forming the higher low at 41.72 here to 31.96. We formed a higher low here at 112, so this one here 111, and your buy would have been here when the stochastic RSI formed above its 50 and golden cross, and your MACD golden cross right here. Buy is from 114 to 115. You're riding that all the way up. because momentum is still going up, your MACD is going up. Your RSI was making higher lows, higher highs. Now in section A, your stochastic was above the 50, now above the 80. And then right here is when it broke the ice. When the stochastic broke the 80 line, when your RSI officially broke your moving average, and then your MACD death crossed. That's how you do it, Cuzzy. As of right now, none of those have happened yet for the bullish side. You're still wide open. You're still down, making lower lows. You're still below the 20 line, so you are waiting and watching. Enjoy the day. Love you guys.